Understanding how settings work on the QuantFu site is important as it can have an impact on how your strategy performs. There are two types of settings: portfolio settings and backtest settings. Portfolio settings control your trade size and margin exposure for all your strategies, while backtest settings control the start and stop times of backtests and other trading account parameters. When you create an account at QuantFu, your account will be pre-populated with portfolio and backtest settings, which you can see by going to the Settings tab in each of the asset classes. Here you see the portfolio settings. Just scroll the page down and you will see the backtest settings underneath. You can override the pre-populated defaults at any time by selecting Edit Settings. Let's review each of the settings shown. There are 6 fields in portfolio settings. The first 2 relate to trade size, which is called share allocation. You can select from 3 options: fixed shares, percent of account value, or dollar allocation. Once you select the allocation method, you can then set the allocation values. For example, if you select dollar allocation and $100 as the allocation size, your strategy would trade $100 worth of each symbol each time a trade is opened. The next 4 settings are designed to give you some controls to limit exposing your account to increased risk. For the field labeled max percent account value allowed, you select a percent threshold. If the total margin used by all open trades divided by the account value exceeds this threshold, no new trades will be opened. Keep in mind that margin is being calculated on all open trades in the account, not just the trades that your strategy opened. If you are also trading additional strategies or QBots or have opened trades manually, then you might have additional trades open. For instance, a value of 25% would prohibit the opening of new trades once margin used by existing trades exceeds 25% of the account value. Once margin used dips beneath the threshold, new trades can be opened. The max percent account value per symbol acts in the same way but tallies margin by symbol traded. As an example, if this value were set at 10%, the strategy would not open a trade for a symbol if the margin used by your total holdings for that symbol in your account already exceeds 10% of your account, regardless of whether that trade was opened by a different strategy or QBot or whether you manually opened that trade. Max open trades limits how many trades can be open at the same time. If max open trades is reached, then no new trades will be opened. An open trade must close before a new trade is allowed to open. And lastly, open trades per symbol counts trades by symbol. No new trades will be opened in any symbol where this threshold is exceeded. There are also 6 fields in backtest settings, but only 5 of which you are able to change. In closing method, you can select between FIFO and LIFO accounting for your trade closes. Note that the default method for live trading with US brokers and the IRS is FIFO. If your backtest is set to run in LIFO mode and you connect your strategy to a broker, your trades will still be executed in FIFO mode unless you have asked your broker to change accounting methods. In the base currency field, you will see USD in this field, which stands for US dollar. At this time, you cannot change the base currency setting. All trade performance in portfolio accounting will be tabulated in US dollars. The starting balance field lets you set the initial cash balance for your hypothetical backtests. Remember that if you set trade size as a percent of account value, the trade size will scale up and down with the value of the account. Fixed share and dollar allocations do not scale. The start date and end date fields are the month, day, and year that you want the backtest to start and end. QuantFu recommends that you run backtests for at least 1 year. Lastly, max draw allowed determines the point at which the backtest will stop running because too much of the account value has been lost. The drawdown is calculated as the percent loss in account value from the previous high water mark. For example, let's assume the backtest started at $10,000, then showed gains that brought the account balance up to $15,000 and then started to lose money. A max draw allowed of 50% would cause the backtest to stop when the account balance reached $7,500 or 50% less than the high water mark of $15,000. Note that changes to portfolio settings will be applied to any new strategy that you create, and the new backtest settings will be applied to all new backtests. Existing strategies and backtests will not be impacted. These default settings are meant to help you create and backtest strategies more quickly. You have the option of overriding the default portfolio settings for any strategy in the strategy canvas. And each time you backtest, you can also override the backtest settings. In the strategy canvas, look here to change the portfolio settings. You can change the trade size, total exposure allowed by margin used, and open trades. And when backtesting, you can update the start and stop date, starting account balance, and what max drawdown is allowed before the strategy turns off. Whenever you change a parameter on the strategy canvas or when running a backtest, remember that the change does not change your default settings. Default settings can only be changed in the Settings tab in each of the asset classes. If you need to see which portfolio and backtest settings were used in any backtests already run, you can find this information by clicking the backtest summary icon on the workshop page. A pop-up will appear that shows all the parameters that were used in each backtest run. Scroll down and you can see the full list. As always, if you have further questions about portfolio or backtest settings, please reach out to us at support@quantfu.com.